And now let's talk a little trash. Last month, the city of Atlanta announced it is a test pilot for a new software-based trash pickup system. Our city is the first partner of waste management company Rubicon Global, who says the program will cut costs for the city and help combat climate change. With me via Skype is Michael Allegretti. He's head of public policy for Rubicon Global. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Celeste. Thanks for having me.
And also here to explain how this works is Stephanie Stuckey-Benfield, Sustainability Director for the City of Atlanta. Hi, Stephanie.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, Michael, help me understand how software changes the way you pick up. I mean, you'd think that picking up trash is just going down each street and picking up the garbage where there's bins, right? So how does software change that?
Well, you can't improve what you can't measure. So at the end of the day, this is really about moving this industry, the waste and recycling industry, out of the dark ages and away from a landfill model, which is an opaque model where knowing how much waste you produce, when it's produced, and what's in it isn't advantageous to the business. Moving away from that to a model where citizens and governments and businesses actually understand how much they're producing and where the opportunities are to recycle and reuse materials, not just to help the environment, but also to make money. So at the most basic level, data and analytics and transparency help to move us away from landfills and towards a greener future.
Stephanie, what does that look like in realistic pictures on the streets of the city?
Well, first, let me just make a quick correction. I've had a change in title. I'm now Chief Resilience Officer for the City of Atlanta as part of the Rockefeller Foundation. And the resilience program includes sustainability. So I did want to give that quick change. So there will be no discernible difference for the regular Atlanta homeowner as to how their trash is picked up. What the Rubicon Global Project brings for City of Atlanta residents is that we are going to start measuring at a real granular level our trash and our recycling. And as a result of that, we hope at the end of this 6-month pilot study period to come up with some solid recommendations for how we can be more efficient.
Meaning you're going to measure how much really belongs in a landfill, how much is recyclable. You also know how much people are recycling as opposed to throwing into their garbage?
That's right. And the cool thing about this technology is right now we have data based on quadrants, which is how we schedule our pickups. So we have different pickup days for the different quadrants.
That's right. Divide the city into squares. And
exactly. So we just have quadrant level data. This gives us data per individual household. And especially what we need to know is who's not recycling.
I got to stop you again. You know, if I live in Atlanta, you're going to know whether I'm recycling or not?
That's right. And we're not trying to be the trash police. What we're trying to do is encourage people to recycle. And we can't really target the homes where people are not recycling unless we know who's not recycling.
Right.
So this data is going to enable us to be more effective in our communications and our outreach strategy.
How do you do this, Michael? I mean, how do you know which addresses are recycling? Because they all get thrown into the same bin, right? I mean, how do you separate people's trash by address?
So the tech, it's app-based tech. So essentially all 60-plus Department of Public Works trucks in the city of Atlanta will be outfitted with our technology on a smartphone. And the principle of the tech is interaction by exception. That's what's so cool about this company and about this technology. It was developed through the eyes of the men and women on the front lines, slinging trash bags and driving trucks. So as the truck's rolling down the street, based on a number of things, and we have dozens of patents pending and approved. They combine GPS, the change in hydraulics of the truck, various shaking mechanisms. All these different triggers essentially confirm that a service has taken place. But if a driver sees something when he or she goes to remove the trash that's out of whack, let's say a bin that's contaminated or it's overflowing, they can actually record that in real time right on the app and have a digital record of that.
Stephanie, what other things can you imagine using this kind of, that's a lot of data, right? I mean, I would imagine there's a lot of different uses for it. For example, maybe there's a household that doesn't realize that you can recycle certain kinds of plastic and they were throwing them away. Is that the kind of thing that you can actually learn?
That's right. And so we want to be able to more effectively communicate to Atlanta residents what they should and shouldn't be recycling. So this data will be incredibly informative in that regard. We're also looking at route maximization. So are we really doing the most effective routing of our trash trucks. So that is the type of technology that Rubicon brings to the table. What's really innovative about Rubicon Global, unlike other trash hauler companies, is that they have a zero waste goal. They're not in the business of owning landfills and making a profit out of how much trash you can bring to the landfills, which is how most waste management companies make their money. Rubicon Global wants to divert waste from the landfills. They want to get more waste in the recycling stream. And so we're improving our greenhouse gas emissions and we're improving our quality of life. So we're really excited to be partnering with Rubicon Global. They're also, I've got to give a shout out for the City of Atlanta. They're an Atlanta-based business.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about trash, and I'm speaking with, tell me your new title again?
Chief Resilience Officer as part of Rockefeller Foundation's 100 Resilient Cities program.
That's a long title.
I know.
But
it's an exciting title. We'll have another show on that.
Stephanie Stuckey-Benfield. Atlanta is the test pilot for a new software-based trash pickup system, and so we have Michael Allegretti with us from Rubicon Global, who developed that software. So, Michael, I have to think that I'm not the only person who is thinking, are we entering the era of the trash big brother? Like, how far is it? How far away are we from Atlanta knowing that I'm not recycling, that I just tossed my aluminum can into the garbage, and then somebody showing up, the trash police showing up at my door saying, all right, pay $5 for not recycling your Coca-Cola can?
All right, well, fair enough. You see, the issue is right now, Atlanta already knows that. The difference is they can't communicate with you about it. They don't have the means to be in touch, to kind of track that, and to start to change your behavior for the better of the city. So knowing about it's one thing, but knowing about it and being able to do something about it is where the change is happening. And, you know, for us, this as a company, the Rubicon Global story up until now has been one about small business empowerment. We have about 5,000 independent haulers across all 50 states, and we work with them to service small, medium, and big national customers who want more cost-effective and environmentally sustainable solutions for their waste. But now with Atlanta, the story evolves. It goes to a new chapter about government efficiency, smart cities, resilient cities, responsive cities. It's really about, if you're going to have a tax dollar paid, you need to get the full value of that dollar back through a service. And I like to think that the Rubicon software in this partnership will kind of maximize the value of that tax dollar.
How do you make money doing that, though? Because, look, I can't even recycle my glass anymore because they said it's not profitable. So I have to throw glass, one of the most easily recyclable materials on the planet,
Sure.
into the garbage. So how do you make money without using a landfill?
Celeste, a lot of that has to do with the messenger. If you're speaking to a landfill company, and the big incumbents in the industry own dozens and dozens of landfills that they need to fill in order to be profitable. So the math for them isn't going to be the same as for a company like ours, who's out there basically looking at all of our customers and saying, give us your trash. As our CEO and founder, Nate Morris, says, trash is a tremendous opportunity. The key is to have a lot of it, and to have it sanitized, and then to sell it on the secondary markets.
Stephanie, what are some of the biggest mistakes people make with their garbage? Is it that they're not recycling all the things that they can recycle, or what are the biggest educational opportunities, I might phrase it that way, for the average consumer?
The biggest problem we're seeing is contamination and failure to recycle. So those are the two.
So you're not rinsing out their recycling items? Is that what you mean?
No, it's people putting items in the recycling bin that don't belong there.
Like batteries.
The number one, batteries is one, but the number one item that people throw in the recycling bin that they shouldn't, can you guess?
Styrofoam.
Plastic
Diapers.
bags. Plastic
they're
bags.
grocery bags, yeah.
Yes, people think that plastic bags are recyclable, and it's what I call magical recycling or wishful recycling. People think, oh, if we put it in there enough, eventually it will be recycled. The problem is plastic bags are not recyclable through our recycling system, and I don't know any city that does recycle plastic bags as part of their single stream residential pickup.
But there are cities that don't allow plastic bags anymore.
That's right.
They want you to use reusable.
We're not
grocery
there
bags.
yet. I certainly encourage people to use reusable, but we're not banning plastic bags at the city level yet. That's not on our immediate agenda. For now, we're just trying to educate residents. If they would just keep plastic bags out of the recycling bin, that would be such a tremendous boost to us. We're showing in some quadrants up to 43% contamination, and most of that's coming from plastic bags and also food. The other thing is styrofoam, and you're seeing people throw paper cups that are plastic lined. And so a lot of this is just education. In the past 2 months, Office of Sustainability has gone out and talked to every single MPU in Atlanta and educated them about what you can and can't put in your recycling bin. But that's only reaching a small fraction of the residents in Atlanta.
And the problem, Michael, with contamination is that it's so expensive to separate it out. Is that correct?
Exactly. It adds a cost to the process, and then the math gets harder and harder to work in terms of making recycling sustainable. That's the key. So we talk about sustainability, making cities more sustainable, but to make recycling more sustainable, it's not just kind of a green endeavor. It has to be a financially feasible one. And that means that at the front of the process, you need citizens and businesses to do their part.
So we only have a minute left, Stephanie, but the promise is that this program will cut costs for the city. How is that going to work?
Well, if we can hone in on how people are not recycling right and use that to help educate, then we're going to be able to get more people to recycle and recycle right. And that will improve our profitability. We want recycling to be a profit venture, which it should be for the city, and that saves residents money. They're spending less taxpayer dollars on their recycling program, and it helps save the environment and improves the quality of our air. I don't think people realize how much our greenhouse gas emissions are caused by landfills, because landfills produce an incredible amount of methane, which is actually more potent than carbon emissions. So there are many benefits to residents, from environmental savings to actual financial savings.
That is Stephanie Stuckey-Benfield. She is the resilience
officer for
the City of Atlanta. Atlanta is the test pilot for this new software-based trash pickup system. Michael Allegretti is with Rubicon Global that developed the software. Michael and Stephanie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.